Wisdom, the final frontier to true knowledge. Welcome to Wisdom Trek, where our mission is to create a legacy of wisdom, to seek out discernment and insights, to boldly grow where few have chosen to grow before. Hello, my friend. I am Guthrie Chamberlain, your captain on our journey to increase wisdom and create a living legacy. Thank you for joining us today as we explore wisdom on our second millennium podcast. This is day 1113 of our trek and time for our Philosophy Friday series. Each Friday we will ponder some of the basic truths and mysteries of life and how they can impact us in creating our living legacy. As we continue on this trek called life, sometimes we have questions about life. So Friday is a time where we can ask Gramps. Gramps will answer your questions that you would like to ask your dad or granddad, but for whatever reason, this is not possible. No matter how old we are, I know that all of us would like the opportunity to ask Dad or Gramps questions about many areas of life. We may mix it up a bit on our Friday episodes, but we will strive to keep them down to earth and enjoyable. If you have any questions that you would like to ask Gramps, please email them to guthrie@wisdom-trek.com. So the question for this week is, Hey Gramps, why is it so important to be encouraging to others? So today let's look at a word of encouragement. It is not always easy to be encouraging to others, especially when their situation is dire, or that you feel a bit discouraged yourself. The importance of encouraging cannot be underestimated. With spring in full swing right now, listening to the spring peepers and other frogs in the evenings reminds me of a story to help us illustrate the importance of encouragement. This story is called The Army of Frogs. One cool spring evening, the frogs were coming out of their hiding from the day, and they started down the old farm road toward the pond that many of the frogs went to at night. Within a few hundred yards, there were many frogs that had joined the group, which is referred to as an army of frogs. This army of frogs advanced one hop at a time. As they turned off the road toward the pond, 3 of the frogs that were in front suddenly fell headfirst into a deep pit. When the other frogs saw them vanish, they crept up to the edge of the pit to see how deep the pit was. As the remainder of the army gathered around the rim of the pit, they realized how hopeless the situation was. In their croaking tones, they shouted to their 3 fallen comrades that there was no hope of ever getting out. However, the 3 frogs ignored their comrades and proceeded to try to jump out of the pit. Nevertheless, despite their efforts, the group of frogs at the top of the pit were peering over the edge, still croaking down at their fallen comrades that they should just give up because they'll never make it out. Eventually, 2 of the 3 frogs took heed of what the others were saying, and they gave up, and then they slipped even deeper into the crevice of the pit, where they were crushed to death in the crevice. The 3rd frog ignored the other 2 and continued to jump as hard as he could. Once again, the army of frogs at the edge of the pit yelled at him to stop the pain and that he should just give up and die. He seemed to ignore them and kept his eyes on the upper rim where his remaining comrades continued to plead. With a bit of a run and a giant leap, the 3rd frog jumped harder and higher and then eventually made it out. When he got out, the other frogs gathered around their exhausted friend and said, "Did you not hear us pleading for you just to give up?" With a frantic motion of his legs, the saved frog finally was able to explain to them that he was deaf, and he thought that they were encouraging him the entire time, so he was bound and determined not to give up, as the other 2 frogs had. The moral of this story is, your words have a huge impact on the lives of others. Therefore, you should think about what you're going to say before it comes out of your mouth. It might just be the difference between life and death. So whenever possible, encourage each other. It does not cost us anything, and it pays huge rewards. And we're reminded of this in Romans chapter 1, verse 12. When we get together, I want to encourage you in your faith, but I also want to be encouraged by yours. So join us again next Friday for another question on our Ask Gramps episode. Our next trek will be Meditation Monday, where we will help you to reflect on what is most important in life. So encourage your friends and family to join us, and then come along with us on Monday for another day of Wisdom Trek, creating a legacy. If you'd like to listen to in the past 1,112 daily treks or read their associated journals, they are all available at wisdom-trek.com. And I encourage you to subscribe to Wisdom Trek on your favorite podcast player so that each day will be downloaded to you automatically. And thank you so much for allowing me to be your guide, your mentor, but most importantly, I am your friend as I serve you through the Wisdom Trek podcast and journal. And as we take this trek of life together, let us always live abundantly, love unconditionally, listen intentionally, learn continuously, lend to others generously, lead with integrity, and then leave a living legacy each day. I am Guthrie Chamberlain, reminding you to keep moving forward, enjoy your journey, and then create a great day every day. See you on Monday.